What is up, everyone? This will be my Kaisa jungle video, and yes, Kaisa the jungle. I really do believe she's really OP. She's a hidden broken pick right now, and I've been spamming her. I really like her. I'm going to teach you guys how to play and climb with her. For starters, you can go Lethal Temple, this page setup. For abilities, you want to start E level 1, Q, and you're going to be maxing Q first, then E second. For pathing, you're going to start red or blue buff, play for your full clear. Her clear is a very sort of specific clear. A lot of your damage actually comes from your passive proc, so that's based off your auto attacks. So that's what's going to be your focus, is just getting this passive thing, which deals 15% of the camp's missing health, right? So when you're on a camp, initially you want to smite it unless you feel like you're going to get cheese. And you always want to start your E around 128. The builds usually just rush Kraken Slayer into Rage Blade. And here you want to just kind of kite. And if you feel pretty good about it, you want to smite before you proc your passive just to get the missing health maximum damage. If you feel like the enemy team might cheese you, then you can kind of change your path about that. But generally, it's pretty safe to do it. And when you play Kaisa jungle, she's sort of like a range champion, so you do have to kite a little bit. If you're uncomfortable with kiting, you don't have to technically. You can always just kind of basic kite. Like here, for example, just pull him up here and then E right through him. All you're trying to do is just kind of make a circle. Doing a little circle as you kind of kite with your movements. Here, same thing. We queued a bit earlier, so what we're going to do is just make sure we auto these last 3 babies. And with Kaisa jungle, she's extremely... You can easily full clear before crab. If you kind of do the clear as I showed you, it should be really good. Here, we're going to E, auto attack this one, auto attack big one, and then start kiting in our circle. Make sure your focus is to auto the big raptor. And you want to make sure you kind of keep kiting around in this sort of circle pathing. And here, once you kind of kill the big one, you can just auto the baby ones down and should be cool. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You want to make sure you W around this area to try to hit the big wolf. You're able to do that. You're going to be able to keep the passive proc going on the big one, which is very important. So just remember that if you can. Looks like Lilia. We're going to be playing a Lilia game. This game we're going to be playing in Diamond MM rank, so just remember that. And here, I'm just going to keep going. I like to do blue here, but you can also do Gromp too. And you can smite early if you feel like you're not going to get cheese, just because the missing health on the blue camp is going to be very, very good for your passive to get most damage off. And from here, you should be able to just kite the Gromp very easily, right? So this is like your clear. As you get your item, your first base, it gets much easier. Don't worry too much. The first clear is just a bit more tricky. But here, you should be able to kind of clear around this kind of crab timer. I like to pull it out just because my passive is going to finish it off. I usually am a bit faster, but generally you should be able to get on crab on time every time. Even on the blue side clear. Just make sure you sort of use your smites for that missing health damage. Here I'm going to check top side. Not really much going on. You don't really gank well till 6. Your ultimate is one of the best ganking abilities in the game. So just remember that. Here, because Lilia started Raptors. Raptors will respawn at around 4 minutes. That's the solo of the camp. So right now we're going to ward and just kind of see what she's doing. Because enemy mid has priority though, we're not going to be able to kind of get much going. So we're probably going to look for a base here. You can see Lilia's on her second respawn, so what we're going to do is just base and look for our second respawn. For builds, I usually like to go for the sword, dagger, double sword into a dagger build. I find it to be really efficient. And I like to go straight into my second camp as soon as possible. I'm a bit later, but it's not really a big deal. You always can just pull the camp with your W. Hitbox on the W is really big, so it generally will clip a lot of things, is what you're going to notice. So just watch out for that. And for ganks, your level 4 ganks after a full clear can actually be quite good. But you just have to be kind of like aware about how you want to gank. This game, this jungle, it's all about farming. You want to make sure you're farming. This team has been really annoying since I picked the Kaisa. What I'm going to do is actually mute everyone right away. And we're just going to play for our farm. I don't really want to play to like invade people necessarily. It's a very risky thing in this meta. And it's something that's like not really necessary as well, is how I would say. You really do have to just prioritize your farm dramatically in this game. Especially on a carry like Kaisa. All you really want to do is get to your Kraken build. Your Kraken's going to be really, really OP for you. Once you get your Kraken Slayer, your damage is just very much insane. You have no problems 1v1ing people, especially early. But you are sort of vulnerable if there's sort of a gank option as well. So you want to be aware of that. And be a bit cautious. I do like to play for dragons early. if I can play around like maybe one person. It's easy for you to solo dragon. It's really hard to do void grubs unless it's like the void grubs are really free. So this game, there might be a pretty much a free void grub angle unless Echo can sort of like really push hard. So that's just kind of like what I'm thinking. But you can always easily one-shot a single void grubs if you want to. Like in this situation, I can just walk in, one-shot a grubby, and that should be really good for us. So here, I'm just going to do pretty much that. If you want to, you can smite for the missing health damage. And like I talked about, the missing health damage is really important. A lot of your passive damage for single target camps is in the missing health damage component. So it's a 5-stack, or I would say 4-stack passive. Your W also applies to passive stacks. So remember that your W will help you with that, with the damage and components of that. So Lilia's doing dragon. I'm just happy with, you know, pretty much the state of the map right now. And I'm kind of scared of Echo. Echo is actually quite a scary champion, especially for a little champion like me. I don't really want to contest her grub or her raptors right now. Just, I want to get vision in this area. I just find the vision to be really good. I just think Echo rotating, it's really dangerous for me to kind of play around that kind of stuff. Here, I really like to go into this component. With this, plus like a dagger, will maximize my damage really high. In Lethal Temple, you're really going for like long fights. Your scaling is where you're going to be really strong. Even though this game is really slow, I'm actually pretty happy with a slow game. You're going to see a lot of success if your game is slow like this. If you're not dying as long as you're getting your CS, you're going to do really well in your game. So here I'm going to do the Krugs now. And when you're 6, you're pretty much a god in counter games. Like I could easily start walking bot if Lily is going for a gank or something. I can just easily kind of like rotate and then look for, you know, like a passive auto, an ulti on this. So here I can look for a W, into an auto, into an ulti, and then we can just kind of run down the MF2. And there I'm going to drop a ward and just kind of like back out of the area. Ooh, wow, that was close. MF barrier was a bit of a spooky situation. You do have to be a bit scared of, you know, maybe getting invaded right after. Looks like Lilia was here. But it doesn't look like she's here anymore. So I do want to just make sure I clear a bit more jungle. But it looks like she was top side. So with your missing health component in your passive, your jungle item, you can sort of clear these camps if you just kite a bit around your sort of missing health components. Just be very, very, you know, cautious of all that kind of stuff. I need 1300 for my item. Now they're starting to invade me. That invade is a problem. If Echo has mana, that might be a problem. But it doesn't look like he actually has mana. Here, again, I really just want my Kraken Slayer. It's why I'm sort of playing really greedy. And I saw Lily go towards bot side. I'm scared of the Nasus or Echo invading me, but so far it looks okay. So far, so good. If I have my Kraken Slayer by, I'm pretty happy. So he took 2 sides of my camps. Looks like they're TPing here too. That's Lilia ulti plus Echo TP. Shouldn't have walked in. I did have my Kraken Slayer after Wolf Camp. So that was a good buy for us. But I'm still really ahead. I have 2 items. That is Lilia ulti. She was not going to have that ability up again. They have a lot of mid priority. My mid laner is a Vladimir. Kind of useless. He's not going to help me at all. But I'm not really worried because I'm going to scale extremely hard. In this situation, when you're playing against like a... How would I say? A double AP comp, it does pay to have some sort of like MR. So we may look into that in the future. Again, our ulti ganks are really strong, really powerful. I just need Nami to hit like ability. And, you know, really beautifully done. Like, so what you're noticing if you're new to Kaisa is the way it works is if someone else CCs a champion while you're in ulti range, it will add passive stacks and also let you ulti onto people, right? So you're always able to ulti on anyone who has your passive stack. So your passive stack, the way it works is your auto attacks apply 1 and your W applies 2. So if you hit W, you can ulti. If you auto someone, you can ulti. Or if someone else in your team, an ally, crowd controls someone, you can ulti onto that, right? It has the range, the circle is pretty far. And it lasts around like 5 seconds. When you proc the passive, it does give, you know, a high amount of damage. This mid lane situation isn't looking good. Her raptors are probably up, but I'm not really able to kind of do anything about that. I do like dragon here, just because dragon's a really easy objective for us to do on the Kaisa pick. I'd be shocked if Soraka walks this way. So I'm going to clear out the pink right now. With my ulti coming up, we'll have a lot of options for plays. But my goal right now is to just do the dragon. But it looks like Soraka's kind of being really weird. So what we're going to do... And that's just a quick kill. We see Soraka was by herself because now we see Lilia's on grubs. What I do is just a simple dragon here. I'm always happy with, you know, trading objectives. Like I said, I'm scaling really hard. This Kraken Slayer buy, I'm already extremely strong. But where you're going to get really strong is that Rage Blade buy. Also something, let me to explain for everyone. The way her abilities works is you have evolution. So this yellow bar here is you're tracking your evolutions. You need 180 to evolve your Q, 100 attack speed to evolve your E, and 100, what's it called? So here I'm going to evolve my Q with this buy. 100 attack speed and 100 AP to evolve your W. So evolving Q is the priority number one. I like to just go pickaxe, sword, and another sword if I have to. One sword is usually enough. At level 9, you should have your Q evolution, which is, you know, like we talked about, extremely important. It doubles your Q damage. So right now, I'm probably the strongest champion in the world. And what you're going to do with these components is I usually use them to go into like Terminus right after my Rage Blade. So you're not going to waste those items. I'm just going to be sitting for a while on my pickaxe for my Rage Blade. But it's really important because the Q evolution is just, you know, it's a priority. Like I said, I'm really strong, so it's not even a problem. Oh, that was a bit closer than I thought. Don't know if I had to flash there, but that was looking a little dicey. Losing vision on the Soraka was a bit weird, but it in turn actually worked out pretty well. Soraka healing is a problem. Remember, we gotta prioritize the Soraka. She ended up getting a little further than we would have liked, but we should have always prioritized that Soraka. Clear the pink out. There are a few combos you can do on her. For example, you can W while you ulti. That's something I'll probably teach more in my future videos. But it's more a bit of a situational thing. You're sort of going to incorporate more and more as you play. And you get better at her. Priority number one is just knowing how to kind of like ulti mid, auto attack, kite with your autos. A lot of times my comboing is just to kind of get on people. And then just get my E and autos off. Your damage is just going to be really high. And you can see Q, empowered Q, the evolution Q is just insane damage, and you're going to see yourself just destroying people. That's why I really prioritize just getting that empowered Q evolution as soon as possible. It's just very important for, you know, how much damage you can. And it's not like you're not going to use the components. Most times I go is my build is Rage Blade into Terminus third item. So what you're going to do is end up using these sort of items no matter what, right? So I'm going to end up having my Rage Blade and then I'm going to have my Terminus. I just really like this item combination on her. I find it to be really good, especially for jungle. Sometimes I've tried Collector. It's okay, but maybe not the best. I feel like Collector is just maybe not the best for Kaisa jungle. the crit is really not what you want to be building on her. You're generally going to be prioritizing on hit effects. Your on hit damage is priority number 1, so just really play around that. And you're going to be just spamming auto attacks after auto attacks, after auto attacks. And after that, you go into the Zhonya's. And the Zhonya's by itself is going to give you the W evolution. And that's where you're going to be really safe and strong to just go in. And pretty much just absolutely, you know, like destroy people. I'm just going to upgrade my boots. I usually like to go blue orb. And here, this is where we're going to get our E evolution. We have our boots and we have the Rage Blade. This is a bit awkward having this component, so one more jungle camp. We're going to get rid of it. And you can see how strong we are, how well farmed we are. And from here, you just farm and you look for ulti ganks, right? Without your ultimate, you have to kind of, you don't really have ways to get on people. So you do have to be a bit cautious, so just remember that. But overall, play for objectives. You one-shot objectives. Now there's really no issues about tanking objectives too. You tank them perfectly fine. So here I'm just going to ping the dragon because I think we should just play for the dragon. There's probably vision all over this area, but I just want to walk in because of how strong I am. And I kind of want to find, for example, like the Soraka or the Lilia. Walking in to get vision, something like that. Maybe this side, maybe up here. Very nicely done. Soraka's still quite low, so you can always snipe people, you know, for example, with your W, if they're low enough to get one shot by it. Maybe I'll just swing in here, invis. And I know what, let Soraka have some money. I'm giving back to charity. That's just how I am. That's the type of jungler I am. And also giving her my bounty is just quite nice. So here I can upgrade boots, but I think the upgrade boots are not as good as getting to like your third item. So unless you have like really nothing to buy, I would recommend trying to get your terminus as soon as possible. Because people get a lot of armor and MR over time. You're a hybrid carry. Your Q is all physical. Your passive's all magic. Your W's all magic, your autos are physical, right? So you're really good hybrid carry. So the terminus item is going to give you a lot of value with that. And I'm really happy with how, you know, well ahead I am with my items. I'm able to kind of force fights really hard. A lot of kiting with her, a lot of damaging. And with the buffs next patch, I think she'll just be extremely easy to play. Especially for the jungle. So what I'm looking for here is actually just, you know, I'm looking for an ulti angle. Damn, I needed to kill that Soraka. I let the Echo live a bit too long there. That was my bad. But I think we win that fight anyways. The Wither is so broken, by the way. This Nasus is literally designed to press W on me. That is his whole purpose in life. But all of my Kaisa games have been like this. I mean, I wanted to show you guys like in Diamond how easy and free she is. If you're good on with mechanics, if you know how to kite a bit, I'm telling you, it's just so good. She's so strong. Just be smart about the early game. Like I said, that perfect early game was just nothing going on. Eventually, I have my ultimate. I make a swing play. I get 2 kills. And then from there, the game was over. You can see how snowbally it is. Just play for that first item spike, the Kraken, the Rage Blade. You're going to just destroy people pretty much with your damage. You know, I like to just bring out, you know, really... I only play things that I really think are good. Like, I won't play something that I think is just, you know, like not actually viable. I always try to play things that I think are really viable. And after Terminus, we're going to go for the Zhonya's. The Zhonya's is pretty much like a get out of jail free card. The Soraka's trolling, so you can see how much damage we can actually do. Here, we probably go for the Echo as well. And you, if you're playing against heavy like AP comps, for example, you can sort of itemize for, you know, arm resist and stuff like that. But personally for me, I don't really... Personally, for me, I don't really think about, you know, going too tanky. The Terminus actually gives you a bit of armor to Mars, so you don't have to worry about that. Here I'm just doing that Otacon. You can see how fast you can actually do it with your passive. And this team is actually a team that like literally did not want to even play this game. They thought I was trolling. I linked my op.gg. I showed them that I'm obviously better than them in every way possible, and then they just bowed down to me. And here I'm going to be really strong. Flanking on this is not bad. They don't have tower here. Looks like they're in this side of the map. Looking for Soraka. E into the brush. You can see how fast you're actually able to get. Oh, that actually hits me. Damn it, man. I needed to just get one auto off. I just kept losing vision. That was obviously unnecessary, but I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun with you. Here, this is usually when I'd probably upgrade my boots just to get a bit more value. Plus, I'm not going to get to like my last item for a while. You're going to be sitting on these sort of components for a while. This is like your core build, I would say. And then you're going to go into your Zhonya's and last items are usually much more flexible. I would say your last items, you have a lot more options. Sometimes you want to go into like a def cap. Sometimes you want to go into like more on hit damage. I don't like Nashers. I've tried Nashers. I always found it not to be that great for like what I actually like to use. I find her to be much more like, I try to itemize for like a more hybrid build, even though Zhonya's is AP. It's more for, I'm going Zhonya's for defense, if anything. So here you can see I'm actually able to ulti if I wanted to, because Bran was able to CC there. That's sort of the mechanic I was talking about. Here I'm going to be really strong. So what I'm going to do is just invade their bot side and just kind of take it over here. They'll probably have vision completely here all over me, but I think I'm gonna take care of business here. Soraka is not here too. Most likely Lily or MF will probably come. And what we want to do is just go on them right away. Damn, I was like one more hit from killing them. Too much magic damage from her. If I'm able to consistently auto, my damage is really high, but because of that, that's an issue. Sometimes I've gone Wit's End as well for MR, but I'm not sure how I feel about Wit's End. I'm still trying to figure out what I want for like my MR item. But yeah, the armor is straight up. You do want the Zhonya's. The Zhonya's, the active effect is just pretty much broken. It's extremely strong. It's very powerful. Even if you're about to get sleep by Lilia, the active is really powerful. And here we're almost at the W evolution. But your goal is to just kind of like play for objectives. You're not going to solo invade pretty much exactly how I'm doing those plays. You're really not going to be doing that as much. You're really going to play much more around, you know, looking for ultis like this, for example. And that should kill her. Oh my god, the dog's going in. He's ghosting. But with Baron coming up, with dragons coming up, you just want to kind of play for the dragons and all that kind of stuff. Okay, there's a combo I saw. With this, you're going to get your evolution now. So you have a W evolution. The W evolution reduces the cooldown by 75%. So when you hit them, if you hit any champion, it's going to reduce it by 75%, which is really strong later in the game. If you miss it, it goes on the full cooldown. And usually I'm just going into the W evolution. From here, it helps a lot with team fighting. But you are still vulnerable without your Zhonya's. The Zhonya's is just really, I mean, it's the most broken item. It's going to allow me to like go in, dive like I did, and have Zhonya's to kind of buy myself time to get my next E up, right? The E evolution makes you invisible, so you're able to kind of get sort of like windows in fights where you're not going to take damage. So you have to play around your invisibility a lot when you're playing her. Here, the W poke will do a decent amount of damage as you get more and more damage items. It also lets you kind of like poke them, engage as well with it. It does proc your passive as well if you do hit it. But if you miss it, it goes back on that full cooldown. Damn, man, this wither is so annoying. I should have just right clicked one more time to proc my passive. A lot of your damage is going to be coming from just proccing these passive effects. And just watch out with how you dive. You don't want to be diving into Nasus without Zhonya's. I'm mostly just having a bit of fun though. Because sometimes you don't want to try to have too much fun. Because the enemy team can steal inhibs. And we should mostly have been playing for Dragon and Baron in those situations, but it's not really the end of the world. Usually just go Baron, go Dragon, get Zhonya's, and then we can play aggressive. Usually at this point, I really try to get Zhonya's for fights because it's going to be a really important thing for you. For your game, you really do want to have that survivability to go in, pretty much as I was doing it. Or else you're going to find yourself in these sort of positions where it's really hard. I would obliterate Nasus if it's an auto for auto fight with Nami around me. Need Nami to be here though. I need this Brand to come here. I think he might walk this way. He might walk to Gromp. What we're gonna do is just go slow here. Quite stronger than I would have thought. But that's mostly Wither. In this game, it might be a weird one where you want to go QSS. But here with Baron, you can actually just two-man Baron. And you don't have to worry about people. Your damage is really high. If you're tanking, you do half damage. So ideally, someone like the Nami ends up tanking. But even if she doesn't tank, it's not really a big deal. E does give you attacks, so you want to be spamming this as much as possible. And here, I mean, I could easily flank on these people here. Trying to finish the dragon. W. Just W once you kind of have vision. She has flash, we can easily go over. I don't know why I face checked that one. I should have W'd it. I kind of forgot it was Echo who was there still. I should have W. I had ulti coming up too. I could have outplayed that so hard. Sadly, they're going to lose before I can pop off with my Zhonya's vibe. But yeah, you want to get to these components, get to like your last items more flexible, have added. It's pretty much whatever you really need in your game currently. And yeah, I hope you guys like this Kaisa jungle video. I'm going to be making more of her. I really do enjoy her. Check out my stream if you want to learn more about her as well. Good luck on your game. Good luck on the climb, and I'll see you guys next time.